You've probably heard of Maxtrax. They're those bright orange boards that David Hasselhoff runs around with on Baywatch. They are probably the gold standard when it comes to traction boards, but they are $300 for a pair. Luckily for us, there are a bunch of alternatives available. I've got a couple of them here, and the prices range from about $60 to $120. If you're interested in getting something like this, I put a bunch of links below in the description, so check that out. I get a little bit of commission from the referral, so I'd appreciate it if you use my links. If not, no big deal. So I'm going to take a few minutes, we're going to take a closer look at these, and I'll talk about some of the benefits and some of the cons when compared to Maxtrax. Now I have two of the off-brand traction boards here with me today. I've got these ones from Boar Off-Road and these from Export. And if you look closely at the boards themselves, you will see that the design is identical. The only difference between these two are the bags that they come in. These traction boards are similar in size and weight to Maxtrax. They all have the patterned underside that sinks into mud and sand and various surfaces. And the top has little nodules on that help the tires grip when pulling out of sticky situations. Around the edges of these boards is a slight scoop shape that allows you to use these as a shovel to remove any things like excess sand or snow that are up around the tires, especially if you've dug yourself in. There are multiple times where I've used these boards to help get people unstuck or stop them from sliding off of a trail in wet conditions. These traction boards also help me reach the top of the highest sand dune at Silver Lake Sand Dunes in Michigan. That's after I backed off too soon and I actually ended up digging into the dunes. They help me get those last 3 or 4 feet to the top. They're also excellent for bridging. There's enough strength in them that means that you can place them down up over an obstacle or a rut, and they will lift you up out of those ruts. These can support the entire weight of the Jeep. And there have been 2 situations where I've had to use these. Both times I actually got caught up on the cross member underneath the Jeep and used these to lift myself up off of the cross member. There are only 2 downsides that I can think of when comparing these to Maxtrax. One of those is the size. These are about twice as thick as Maxtrax, and they take up a lot more space when stacked. So you can see they don't fit together nicely where Maxtrax do. That isn't always a downside though, because I've actually used these a lot of times to help level my Jeep or my trailer when camping, and that extra little bit of height helps a lot when keeping the trailer level. You also need to think about where you're going to store these. These take up a lot of space and they get very dirty when you use them, so you do not want to have these on the inside of your vehicle. Mounting these on the outside is difficult without a roof rack. Now these boards do have multiple mounting options. There are 2 holes at the end that you can run bolts through and multiple holes down the middle for attaching to roof racks. Now I personally leave these in my roof basket and just strap them down with a ratchet strap. The other downside to these is one that actually shares with Maxtrax, and that's that you absolutely cannot spin your tires while using these. If you spin your tires, you will melt the plastic that makes up the boards. Now, like I said, that's the same on the Maxtrax, but the Maxtrax now come with replaceable studs, so that if you do end up destroying those studs, you can replace them. With these boards, once these studs are melted, they're gone and you have to replace the board. Now I've got an example over here, one where we spun the tires a little bit, and you can see that some of those studs have started to melt. Overall, I'd personally go with these off-brand boards. They're pretty much as good as Maxtrax, yet they are less than a third of the price. You could get 3 to 5 pairs of these for the price of 1 set of Maxtrax. The only thing you need to consider is if you have the storage space for these versus the Maxtrax. If you are interested in getting some of these, check out my links below.